Good afternoon, my name is Nicholas Dunn, and this presentation is intended for the Bellevue Public Schools Board of Education. Now, over the last couple of decades, shop classes around the nation have seen a steady decline in the number of classes available to students. And with this, students are not allowed to gain many valuable skills they could otherwise obtain. And now with a lack of individuals with these valuable skills entering the workforce, the blue-collar workforce is also seeing a diminish in the amount of individuals in which are able to work and do these jobs that require these skills. And today I want to discuss the correlation between the diminishing shop class and the blue-collar workforce, as well as how Bellevue East and Bellevue Public Schools District in Bellevue, Nebraska correlates and how it is fighting this pandemic. So first off, with a little bit of background, I want to talk about the No Child Left Behind Act and how it was passed in 2001, and the essentially the thought behind it was a way to revamp how schools allocated their funding, and it was based off of scores on tests on certain subjects, and so subjects that were not included in these tests were cut for funding purposes, so more funding could be put towards these other classes. And another thing is I want to talk about the blue-collar crisis that is going on. There's a lot of companies that are finding it hard to employ the individuals necessary with the skills needed to perform their positions, and with this, a lot of companies are having to go to outsourcing and other methods to obtain the skills necessary to perform their duties. And some personal background is I'm a recent graduate of Bellevue East High School. I took shop class for all 4 years, and I have personal connections in both the blue-collar workforce and within Bellevue Public Schools. Now, first off, I want to talk about why we should cut wood and not its funding. Now, as we can see, there's been a steady drop in vocational classes ever since 2001, when that No Child Left Behind Act was passed. Now, with standardized testing and with funding being allocated towards other subjects, schools have opted to cut subjects like music, art, and shop classes in favor of these other classes. And since this, a lot of these have been cut, and students are no longer being able to explore the options in which they were once able to explore. Now, Bellevue East, on the other hand, has done well in maintaining a lot of these programs, such as being able to maintain their woods shop, metal shop, and what they call their power drive program, which is an opportunity for students to dip their toe into the automotive industry, and even adding another program in the form of a construction program, which allows students to take all of these skills and implement them to building something like a house or a shed, etc. And also we have, they're lucky to have Dr. Jeff Wagner, who has personal connections and has managed to maintain and get private investors to invest in the schools so they can maintain some of these programs. And I also want to go over some of the benefits the shop classes does provide. Shop class provides a hands-on learning experience for students to get out of the standard classroom and gets them working with their hands and exposure to equipment that they might not have ever been able to have, and develop skills that they might not have been able to develop. It's a good way to have cross-course learning, aka taking courses such as mathematics and tying them into these courses, such as the way that geometry is very prevalent in any of these courses. And then giving students a chance at career exploration like school visits, or having individuals from the schools come and visit. And then it's also a good way to step towards getting things like apprenticeships and being able to go into these secondary schools to further refine these skills and even potentially get that schooling paid for. Now, Bellevue East has done really well at, for one, implementing things like geometry into their classes to get some of that cross-course learning. In all of their base classes, there is some drafting and things to be done like that, which requires that basic understanding of geometry. There's also many vocational visits that they go and visit schools and have individuals from the schools come and visit Bellevue East. And now I also want to go over the blue-collar crisis that the U.S. is currently going over, and now many companies, like I said earlier, are struggling to find work for these positions that they need filled. And then from Dana Wilkie of the Society of Human Resources, or Human Resource Management, there's going to be a potential of up to 2.4 million unfilled jobs in the manufacturing industries from 2018 to 2028. And this is going to cause an up to $2.5 trillion negative economic impact on the United States economy, which is a massive impact just for there being a lack of skilled workers in the labor force. And then also from statistics from the National Center for Education Statistics, they show that vocational schools are actually the second lowest for number of schools nationwide and number of enrollment, only being vested by schools for special needs students. And now all of these clearly indicate on why there's a problem and why there's a crisis going on. There's a lack of individuals with the skills needed, and it's causing great impacts to the economy and other things. Now, Bellevue East is doing its best at combating this by implementing things like giving their students these opportunities to learn their skills and going into the labor force and giving them these interests to build on later. They're educating them on the possibilities, and they're not using negative stipulations against trades that many other schools have. And they also have managed to maintain their programs and also add upon them, giving students even more avenues to explore some of these skills. And then in conclusion, I would like to say that Bellevue East definitely does have an effective shop class program. And then blue collar jobs are dropping across the country for multiple reasons, from societal stipulations, from a white collar push to get students to go for things more like universities and other sort of office type jobs instead of some of the more labor intensive blue collar jobs, and a lack of student exposure by this drop in shop classes nationwide. I think that they're very important and that shop classes should be widely instated. And any recommendations that I have would be that Bellevue East should continue its current programs and continue allocating funding in the way it is. I think the Department of Education should revamp its way that it's allocating school funding to make it more fair and accessible to all sorts of students and trades. And then I want to strive to end some of the negative stigmas that blue collar jobs have behind them. Thank you.